Hello, in this tutorial I will explain how to create an osteotomy guide. I will go just to the guides panel and to the last option, osteotomy guides. Here in the left we have the complete workflow. First we have to select what kind of osteotomy we are producing. For example, I have 3 for mandible, for the chin, left and right side, and 1 for maxilla. About the chin osteotomy still. So I have to produce a base plate all around my chin. So I just click on new and open this plate design tool. I have a complete video you can see about this tool. Today we are just focused on the main functionality to produce this osteotomy guide. So I have to select my main model, will be the mandible. Okay. Then I have to select, if I want to trim my mesh, I can just cut off some part I don't need, in this case not necessary, and then I have to select the direction in which I will produce my mesh. Normally I click on camera direction, but you can also use the preset direction like anterior, posterior. There's a direction, and now we can produce a second mesh just to blocking some undercuts or some retention area. I just have check on this button. I can also alterate the internal smooth, the minimal thickness or my base plate and just apply. The software will produce a second temporary mesh with the same of the mandible but with the extrusion direction. So now I just click on next. I can customize different characterization of my base plate like height, thickness or external move, and I can select the area. I can select the area just all around my my cutting line, or if you want to be less invasive you can go also inside according your surgery technique. So now I just right button of my mouse and click on end. When I finish to do this, I can adjust a little bit some point of my red line, and then I can go directly to apply. The software will produce this temporary base plate. I can go next, and then I have different possibility. I can perforate my mesh. I can also have possibility to see or hide different structure I'm working. And when I finish, I just click on build base plate. The software will create now the base plate. I can go out of this tool and go on with the cut guide. This is the cut thickness, and I can directly say to the software using this cutting plane to cut my guide. Now I have 2 different mesh. You can see all around my cutting line. I can use both of them or just one. Here in the mesh list I have the temporal and temporal mesh. So for example, for this tutorial I will use just the internal one. Now I can add some occlusal reference. I created already a presurgical splint from the splint module. You can see in the previous tutorial about splint design. So this is my occlusal splints. Now what I need is a connector between the occlusal reference and the guide. I can also add some primitive, for example like a square or a cylinder, here just in the center. I can also directly apply one connector. I have different kind of connector, for example circular one. I can make click on my primitive and click on my splints. If I don't like the results, I can directly delete this kind of connector and choose another one. For example, classic connector. One here and one here. Again, one in any side of my patient mouth. I can totally modify and customize this kind of connector, as well as I can make them bigger or smaller, depend. So now when I finish all the process, I have just to go down to the join mesh. For example, I have to know if I don't want to include the other part of my base plate, and just click on join. When I finish, I can go out of my workflow, and here in my mesh list I will have my osteotomy guide ready to be printed. I have just to go with the right button and go to export to STL.